It's time for a GSM Arena camera phone battle. Today we'll be comparing the LG G6, Samsung Galaxy S8, and the Xperia XZ Premium. In the first corner, the LG G6 has a versatile double camera setup. The first camera has a 30mm focal length with stabilization and autofocus. The second, wide-angle camera has the largest field of view among the three phones. In the second corner, the Galaxy S8 has a single camera with optical stabilization. Samsung remains the class leader in autofocus speed for the second year in a row, thanks to its Ace card, dual pixel technology. Our final contender is the Xperia XZ Premium, with the largest sensor and resolution of the three. The Xperia has great dynamic range, but it has no stabilization. Round 1. Daylight Processing. In daylight, all three phones shoot admirably. The G6 can get slightly noisy, but it's not an issue. The S8 has remarkable denoising. It obliterates virtually all noise without smearing the important details. The Xperia does a fine job of noise reduction and nicely balances noise versus sharpening. When sharpening's the name of the game, the G6 is probably the most balanced. The S8 has high sharpening, and you can occasionally spot sharpening halos along contrasting edges. The G6 and S8 compete for the high saturation crown. Well, the Xperia shots look more natural. They all take great daytime photos, so we'd rather not pick a winner in this round. But the same can't be said for round 2. Low light, handheld. The competition heats up in low light conditions, and unfortunately, the Xperia's lack of stabilization and its narrow aperture handicaps its abilities. To prevent blurry photos in auto, the Xperia shutter speed stays high and boosts the ISO way too much. In comparison, the other two phones used lower shutter speeds and ISO, which resulted in cleaner and sharper images. The Galaxy S8 has the brightest and most detailed nighttime shots, and it's the winner in this round. The G6 comes in second with slightly lower levels of detail, but quite a bit more visible noise. Round 3. Low light tripod. We whipped out our tripod and we went to see how these phones will do when we force a low ISO and a long exposure time in manual mode. In this scenario, the Xperia's level of detail blasts the other two out of the water, and it scored top spot in this round. The S8 delivers clean, noise-free images with lots of detail, but only with shutter speeds up to 1/4 of a second. Any longer and a harsher noise reduction kicks in, obliterating a lot of fine detail. Round 4. Selfie time. We shouldn't forget that these phones have cameras on the front as well. The G6 comes with a selfie cam that's got a wide and normal mode, sort of like the rear cam, but it achieves that with only one sensor. It lacks autofocus, but it does okay. The Xperia selfies look promising at first, but we couldn't seem to get rid of the skin softening, even in manual mode. The Galaxy S8 produces more true-to-life images with plenty of detail, but we've been struggling with locking focus on our faces. Still, it's safe to say it wins this round. Round 5. Video daylight. For a 2017 flagship, 4K video is a must. At 2160p, the three phones have comparable levels of detail. The videos by the G6 are more saturated, and it only has the OIS to rely on when shooting 4K. The S8's video is nice and contrasted with great colors. Video stabilization is much better here, though sometimes you can see the image wobble at the corners if you shoot while walking. The XZ Premium has more natural colors, and it has slightly less effective stabilization, but it doesn't get the wavy effect. At 1080p, things are a little less snazzy, and there's a lot less detail. While the G6 has stabilization at Full HD, when you look closely, the colors look oversaturated and there is much less detail. The S8 produces the sharpest image, and its stabilization here is much better and lacks the wobbling effect. Visually, the Xperia isn't much worse, and it has seriously smooth footage thanks to EIS. But of course, no other phone can compete with the XZ Premium's slow motion capabilities. We're calling this round a triple tie, as each of these phones has a trump card of its own. Round 6. Video low light. In low light, the LG G6 captures a much darker image than its competitors, but it preserves the sunset vibe of the sky. The Galaxy S8 has the brightest exposure of the three, little noise, and fine textures. The Xperia also retains heaps of detail, but colors are on the cool side in comparison to the S8, and its footage is the least contrasted of the three. Again, we'd have to call this one a tie. All three phones are great performers on their own. Now the question remains, which one of these three phones is the best one? It actually depends on what your needs are and what sort of photos you like to take or what sort of video. So, actually, you should tell us, which one is your favorite?